guys ready?
Yep.
Good. To start off, today was a day we kind of did a mock everything with 48 new players. Actually, we picked up, I think, about 10 walk-ons when school started, so we're really up over 50, 60, almost 60 new players and new coaches. So I thought it was important today to do a dry run at everything, from the Thunder Walk to pregame, the uniforms, make sure the uniforms fit right, make sure your name's spelled right on your jersey, all the things that cause anxiety on game day. I wanted to get through. I wanted to get through with all the new staff members. I wanted to get through with all the new players. Where do you go in pregame? How long is it? What's the tempo? When does my group go out? And then we went through a situational script in the game, just from switching personnels, from switching situations, first down, second down, jet package, base package, field goal unit, field goal block. We even threw in some, hey, so-and-so's down, his helmet came off. Hey, the quarterback's helmet came off in the middle of play. Backup quarterback's got to be ready to go. So just things that, come up in a game that you don't always practice. If game day is the most important day of the year, you probably should practice that at some point, So we went through that today. Thought it was good. Got a chance to get some reps and some quality operation done without, necessarily the banging and beating guys up. And we'll get back on our normal game week schedule starting tomorrow. So we feel really good about it. Feel like we're in a good spot. I thought the guys handled today well. It's tough when you don't really have somebody in front of you, and you kind of, you stop them, but coach says a touchdown, and they're like, oh no, that's not true. So I thought they handled it well. I think that speaks to a little bit of the maturity and culture on our team. So I was pleased with that.
Coach, talking about tactically, you play 3:30 next week. You kind of did this around the time that you kick off. Was that any part of the preparation? Let's do this as close to when we're going to kick off next Saturday again?
Yeah, no, we did everything. So we ate our pregame meal at the same time. We did the herd walk or thunder walk at the same time. We kicked off about the same time. We did the coin toss about the same time. A lot of things so that next week there's the least amount of anxiety as possible. Whatever the weather's going to be, hopefully it's similar to this. Where's the sun going to be from the wideout to the DBs? All the things that you really don't think about that come into play on game day, we tried to replicate exactly what was going to happen in 7 days from now.
Is there a reason you kind of went faster today? Because their brains are going to probably going that fast this time next week, but the game won't be. So it's maybe...
Yeah, I kind of try to pick up the tempo a little bit. It's a little bit easier, to kind of go fast when you don't have somebody in front of you. But, you always stand on the sideline, you yell tempo, get lined up. And forcing them to kind of get off the sideline, get to the huddle, get the call, get on the field. On game day, there's a little bit of a lag. You got to ask your coach, hey, he did this last time, am I taking this step or whatever it may be, to try to speed the game up in simulation so that next week they can kind of slow it down in their minds. That was part of the plan.
Are there any major adjustments looking at how everyone went through it? Do you think, okay, maybe I need to change a piece or two, or is it all pretty much set? This is just now let's know how to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty much set. Obviously, when we get on the road, we won't have as many people. At home, you got the whole roster, so that your half of the field gets a little tight in pregame, and you're throwing, the linebackers got 8 lines, and it's a little tight. But I think what we'll be able to do is make some adjustments of who comes out at what time. Managing the guys who are walk-ons or the guys who may not be playing red shirts or whatever. When do they come out for spacing? But pretty much what we did today is I told them it's going to be that way for the rest of the time. So they can close their eyes and pregame goes like this for the rest of the time.
Coach, how important was having the crowd noise today? Because I know a lot of times in the first game there's a lot of offsides, false starts, that's just everywhere across college football. How big was that for you guys to kind of have that crowd noise to at least replicate game day, to kind of at least maybe try to cut back on mistakes for next week?
Yeah, we had one of our mental health coaches come in and talk to our team about managing anxiety. How do you manage anxiety? And one of the things that she talked about was music, and what music does to your dopamines and all of those things that are way above my pay grade and level. But again, the crowd noise raises your anxiety, because all of a sudden now you got a little bit more juice flowing. So I wanted to do it for that. I also wanted to do it because at practice the coach yells out there, move out, back up, move over, watch for the bubble. Well, in the game, you're not going to do that, because it's going to be too much noise. So I wanted the guys to be able to communicate. Again, we preach communication on the field with each other, linebacker to linebacker. It's one thing when you're at practice and there's no noise to say, hey, rip, Liz. But when there's noise, you got to be a little bit louder. You got to have a little bit more command in your voice. A couple times a day, a couple guys say, "I can't hear you," which is good. So just to kind of get all the things involved that you really don't think affect game day, but have a major piece. Good.
I think we're good.
I appreciate you guys, man.